Hello students, welcome to EPG Parshala. I am Dr. Savita. Today we are going to discuss about the module Deserts of India from the paper Tourism Products of India. After completing this module, students will be able to understand about the deserts of India, understand the climate and vegetation of various deserts, and also know about the attractions of deserts of India. Deserts occupy approximately one-third of the Earth's land surface. Arid land and little rainfall that supports only minimal vegetation and a limited population of people and animals. Deserts have always fascinated people with their stark, sometimes mysterious spatial surroundings and are playgrounds for people seeking adventure and exploration of the unknown. These arid regions are called deserts because they are dry. They may be hot or even cold. They may be regions of sand or vast areas of rocks and gravel spattered with bushes, scrubs and occasional oases. But one thing that remains essential is that deserts are always dry. As deserts are dry regions, they are ideal for human artifacts and fossils to be preserved. Deserts have fragile environments, therefore, there is an unavoidable need to preserve and conserve them. A desert is defined as any area that gets less than 10 inches of rainfall per year. In 1953, Prevril Makes divided desert regions on Earth into three categories according to the amount of precipitation they received. In this now widely accepted system, extremely arid lands have at least 12 consecutive months without rainfall. Arid lands have less than 250 millimeters of annual rainfall and semi-arid lands have a mean annual precipitation of between 250 and 500 millimeters. Arid and extremely arid lands are deserts and semi-arid grasslands generally are referred to as steppes. Desert biomes can be classified under four major types of hot and dry, semi-arid, coastal and cold. Hot and dry deserts. The seasons at hot and dry deserts are generally warm throughout the year and extremely hot in the summer. The winters usually bring a little respite with rainfall, though in minimal quantity. The temperatures are daily extreme variation as there is little or no humidity in the atmosphere. Hence, there is no obstruction to block the sun's rays. This result the desert surfaces receiving more than twice the solar radiation received by humid regions and lose almost twice as much heat at night. There is little rainfall and long stretches of no rainfall period. The rate of evaporation is more than the rainfall, thus the vegetation which grows here is adaptive of such dry conditions. The mostly means variety of shrubs and short woody trees with rare, if any, green canopies. Semi-arid desert, the Summers are not very harsh but moderately long and dry. The summers experience hot days, that is 21 to 38 degree, and comparatively cooler evenings, that is 10 Celsius. The rainfall normally occurs in winters through in low quantity. The low night temperature encourages both vegetation and wildlife by reducing moisture loss from transpiration, sweating, and breathing. Furthermore, condensation of dew caused by night cooling often equal or exceeds the rainfall received by some deserts. Coastal deserts. These deserts are in comparatively cool to warm areas such as the Nearctic, North America and New Tropical Central and South America region. For example, Atacama in Chile, the winters are cool followed by a long and warm summer. The temperature in such regions ranges from 13 to 24 degrees Celsius in summers and 5 degrees Celsius or below in winters, cold deserts. These experience cold winters with snowfall and an overall high winter rainfall. These are mostly found in the Antarctic, Greenland and the Nearctic belt. The summers are short, warm and humid, whereas the winters are long, cold and wet with a lot of snow. The winter experience very low temperatures ranging between -2 degree to 4 degrees Celsius, and the summer temperature ranges between 20 to 21 to 26 degrees Celsius. Deserts of India. India's dry desert landscape has been the foundation of an exceptional civilization, though now it is a region with extreme climatic conditions and not so easy to live in landscape. It is a vast arid desert land which receive meager or no rainfall. The vegetation is mostly scrub type with limited wildlife populations. India has prominent arid regions in the northwestern, western and southern part of the subcontinent. The Thar Desert. The Thar Desert extends from the Indian state of Rajasthan in northwest and crossed over to Kolistan Desert in Pakistan. The Indus River border it in the west. Another name for the Thar is the Great Indian Desert. This dry biome covers about 92,200 square miles. The name Thar comes from Hul, a term for this desert's characteristic sand ridges. It is an arid region as the monsoon which comes to India bypasses this origin. The origin of the Thar Desert is a subjective of much research and discussion. Some consider it to be 4,000 to 10,000 years old, whereas others states that aridity started in this region much earlier. Another theory states that area turned to being a desert relatively recently, perhaps around 2000 to 1500 BC. It is believed that around this time the main source of water to this region, that is the Ghaggar Hakra, started shrinking and no longer was a major river. It is still terminates in the desert but at one time it was an important supply sources of water to the Indus Valley civilization city of Mohenjo-daro. It is theorized that the Satluj River was the main tributary of the Ghaggar and that subsequently the tectonic movements might have forced the Satluj toward the west, the Yamuna toward east, and consequently dried up the Ghaggar-Hakra river. Studies and research of the Kalibangan region in the desert postulate that it was abandoned because of the drying up of the river system. Professor B.B. Lal, retired Director General of Archaeological Survey of India, supports this view by asserting radiocarbon dating indicates that the mature Harappan settlement at Kalibanga had to be abandoned around 2000 to 1900 BCE, as the hydrological evidence indicates this abandonment took place on account of the drying up of the Ghaggar-Hakra climate and vegetation. It makes up the major part of western India and spread over an area of about 2,38,700 km. It continues to Punjab and Sindh in Pakistan. The major expansion of the Thar Desert is in the Indian state of Rajasthan, covering about 61% of geographic area of Rajasthan. Approximately 1/10 of the region comprises of sand dunes and the remaining includes rust rocks, compacted salt lake bottoms and interdune and permanent dune areas. There is an extremity in the range of temperature which ranges between 0 degrees Celsius in the winters to over 50 degrees Celsius during the summer. The southwest monsoon brings in the rainfall between July September, ranging between 100 to 500 mm. There is an extreme scarcity of water in the region. The vegetation of the area has been classified as scrub forest. Grasses such as sevan and dhaman, flowering plants, for example, khejri, acacia, nilotica, prosperous, juliflora, cactus and neem are the major flora found in Thar region. The plants have adapted themselves to survive in the extreme conditions of the desert. Apart from these, there are a variety of rare plants with medicinal value which are also found in the Thar region. Attractions. The culture of Rajasthan is an exclusive and as colorful as its rich historical past. The culture reflects the colorful history of the royal province. The essence of the Rajasthani culture is showcased in its folk dance and music, traditional food, peoples of Rajasthan and in every lifestyle. Being a royal state, Rajasthan is known for its princely grandeur and royalties. It fetches tourists from all over the globe with its fascinating traditions, customs, people, heritage and monuments. Rajasthan is truly a state with a spectacular and colorful culture. Rajasthani traditions follows some of the oldest native tribes of the region: Lohars, Bhils, Minas, Gadia, Muns and Banjaras. Cuisine. Traditional food of Rajasthan is in high demand by the globe trotters. Rajasthani food comprises of typical Rajasthani meat dishes, curries, sweets and spicy vegetarian dishes too. Cuisines of Rajasthan have the influence of Rajasthan climatic condition. It includes ingredients and preparation methods which can last for days and years like Goond ke laddu and Jaipur ki gachak. Other popular dishes include dal bati churma, गट्टे की सब्जी, लाल मांस, केसर मोर्ग, घेवर, etc. Just to name a few. Rajasthani dance and music. Rajasthan has many forms of folk dances which are festive, attractive and appreciated by domestic as well as foreign tourists. Many of the Rajasthan's traditional dance forms can only be performed by trained professionals. The folk dances like Ghumar and Udaipur and Kalbelia from Jaisalmer have gained global recognition. On the other hand, folk music is also a vital part of Rajasthani culture. Teratali, Kathputli, Bhopa, Ghingar, Cheng, Tejaji, Kachipuri, etc. are examples of the traditional Rajasthani music and dance culture. Origin of Rajasthani folk dances is considered to be from various native tribes, and in the bygone eras they were mainly used as means to entertain the royalty. Folk songs are commonly ballads which showcase heroism of historical characters and their love stories. The music also includes religious or devotional songs known as bhajans and banis. Among famous Rajasthani folk music, Panihari, Pabuji Ki Panch and Mand are considered to be most popular. Fairs and festivals. Mount Abu Summer Festival, the only hill station of Rajasthan, Mount Abu, provides the much needed respite in the shape of a 2-day summer festival. Commencing on Buddha Purnima, the festival brings to life a vivid spectrum of Rajasthani culture. The festival concludes with a mesmerizing show of fireworks. Teej festival. Teej is the monsoon festival. The festival celebrates the generosity of Mother Nature and welcome the rainy season with rituals and customs. The festival is mainly celebrated by women. The festival is dedicated to goddess Parvati. The goddess is celebrated and worshipped in a speculator procession which starts at the city place. Marwar Festival. Marwar Festival is a popular festival of Jodhpur. A 2-day affair, the festival is celebrated annually in September to October, month of Ashwin as per the Hindu calendar. The festival commemorates the bygone of the bravery of the heroes of Rajasthan. Originally known by the name of Mand Festival, it has multiple venues which also include the famous Clock Tower and Ocean's Sand Dunes. Pushkar Fair. The annual Pushkar Mela or the Pushkar Camel Fair is a week-long fair. The main theme of the fair is the display, buying and selling of camel and other livestock. The town of Pushkar is all set to host Pushkar Mela between the months of October and November. Believed to be the largest camel fair of the world, it attracts a lot of national and international tourists to Pushkar. In recent time, in recent times, a match of cricket between the foreign tourists and the local cricket hub is also attracting a lot of attention. Camel Festival. The Camel Festival held in Bikaner is yearly event commemorating the camel, the popular sheep of the desert. The festival is organized by the Department of Tourism, Rajasthan. The month of January sees the festis, the camel festival, and most of the events held during the festival focus around the camel itself. For example, camel races, camel milking, camel fur cutting design, best breed competition, camel acrobatics, and camel beauty pageants. The camel are the center of attraction. The magnificent fort of Junagadh provide the perfect backdrop to the beautifully decorated camels, making it a sight to behold and carry in your memories forever. Desert Festival. Every year the desert comes alive to the tunes of Rajasthani folk dance and music across the sand dunes of Jaisalmer. The Department of Tourism organizes an annual 3 days desert festival which hold fascination for both the international as well as the domestic tourist. The captivating performances take one of the very core of the Rajasthani folk culture and enthrall the tourists. Sands around Jaisalmer come alive with enthralling performances on the sand dunes as a part of the desert festival. Kite Festival. The Kite Festival is a mesmerizing affair, especially in Rajasthan. This festival is a thrilling show of colorful kites that takes to the sky all across the state. The celebration looks even more spectacular in the evening when fireworks along with the kites up the skies. Places to see. The versatile and spellbinding landscapes of the Thar have a variety of attraction for the tourist. Desert cities of Thar. The Thar includes the beautiful cities like Jaisalmer, also known as the Golden City or the Jewel of Desert. There is also the Pink City, that is Jaipur, the Blue City Jodhpur, and the Royal City of Lakes Udaipur and Bikaner. The region boasts of a number of and famous for its fort, palaces, folklore, sand dunes, safaris, colorful culture, and much more. Desert tribes and villages. The major percentages of the Thar population are the native tribes like the Lohar, Gypsy, Bishnoi, Minas, Saharians, Bhils, Gharsians, and Rabaris. They are settled in the various desert village settlements. Desert Camel Safari. Rightly known as the sheep of the desert, the camel is the best way to explore the Thar. Camel safaris is the most popular attractions of the city. The safari takes you around Jaisalmer. There is also a jeep safari, though it is not as much popular as the camel safaris. National parks and wildlife sanctuaries. A prominent and preserved ecosystem in the Thar region is the Desert National Park in Jaisalmer, is a typical show window of the region's wildlife. The national park boasts of having a sizable population of the great Indian bustards, black bucks, chinkaras, the Indian gazelle, the Indian wild ass, and desert foxes. These are species and rarely found in other parts of the country. The Deccan thorn scrub forest. The unique type of a desert known as the Deccan thorn scrub forest spreads across the dry region of the Deccan Plateau. The Deccan thorn scrub forest stretches across northern Sri Lanka and various southern states of India, namely Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. Origin. In the ancient times, the Deccan Plateau was a segment of the Gondwana land continent. A big chunk of land broke away from the mother continent during the Cretaceous to form the Indian subcontinent, Africa, Madagascar, Australia, South America, and New Tunisia, and some of the smaller islands such as New Caledonia and Tasmania. It is believed that around 50 million years ago, the Deccan Plateau moved toward north and collided with the Eurasian continent. This led to a geological uplifting which resulted in the formation of mountains known as the Western Ghats along the western Indian coast. These mountains ranges are the reasons for the dry rain shadow area created in the Deccan Plateau, as these obstruct the path of the moisture carrying southwest monsoon. Climate and vegetation. The Deccan thorn scrub forest region experiences an annual rainfall which remains under 750 millimeters. The rainfall is received in the short monsoon period and the remaining year is mostly dry. The summer months face sweltering heat and temperature exceeding beyond 40 degrees Celsius. Although the region is mostly a thorn scrub land, but the original vegetation is said to be the tropical dry deciduous forests which are still a part of the region's vegetation. The thorn scrubland typically encourages growth of thorny trees with short trunk that do not form green canopies. Flora and fauna. These forests are home to the remaining populace of the bird Jordan's courser. They face a severe menace of extinction and were recently rediscovered. After almost 9 decades since it was last recorded in 1900. However, apart from this, the region is neither species rich nor rich in native flora. The in-between areas of dry grassland are home to a variety of fauna. The southern grassland of Andhra are home to the Indian bustard and bagduck and black bucks. Another important feature of these scrublands is that it supports the growth of a number of medical plant species and also plants of scientific importance attraction. More than 3/4 of the natural terrain in this ecological domain has been lost or deteriorated. A number of protected areas covers almost 3% of this biome, amongst which the Nagarjun Sagar Sri Salem Tiger Reserve is the largest. White salt desert of Kutch. It is considered to be one of the hottest and dustiest region of India. It is known by many names such as White Salt Desert of Kutch, the White Run or Great Run of Kutch. The Ranis of the Indian state of Gujarat and stretches for about 2898 square miles across the Red Cliff line. It shares its international border with the Sindh Desert in Pakistan. The arid desert wears a blanket of white salt and has an ethereal facade of a snow-covered landscapes. The region experiences extreme temperatures. The average summer temperature touches a maximum of 50 degrees Celsius, which the winters bring the temperatures down to below freezing. The Run of Kutch is known for its pure white salty desert and is believed to be biggest salt desert in the world. Run means desert in Hindi, which is taken from the Sanskrit word arena, which also means desert. The natives of Kutch are called Kutchni and have a language of their own, also known as Kutchni. The Great Run of Kutch, the Little Run of Kutch and the Bunny Grasslands at its southern border is situated in the district of Kutch and sprawl for about 30,000 square kilometers between the Gulf of Kutch and the mouth of the Indus River in southern Pakistan. The marshland can be accessed from the village of Kharaghola in Sundarnagar district. The Greater Run of Kutch shares the international border with Pakistan in the north. Origin. In the ancient times, the Run of Kutch was an extension of the Arabian Sea with little depth. Constant geological upliftment severed its connection with the Arabian Sea. This formed an extensive navigable lake, the Ghaggar River, at that time drained into the run, but gradually it started to dry as its tributaries were gorged by the Indus and Ganges thousands of years ago. The number of rivers form a drainage system of sorts in this marshy land. The Luni River, though originated in Rajasthan, but drains a small northeastern area of the run. Few other rivers flow into the marshy land, including the river Rupen from the eastern region and the river West Banas river from the northeastern region. Climate and vegetation. The climate in Run, due to its dry and scorched desert land, is considered to be one of the harshest and hottest temperatures recorded in the country. The temperature touches extremes. The summer temperatures reach as high as 50 degrees Celsius, whereas the winter temperature can touch as low 0 degrees Celsius. The monsoon covers this salt desert with water due to its proximity to the Luni, Rupen and Indus River. The Kutch Desert is about 49 feet above sea level. Attractions. Kutch's handicrafts. The Kutch region is the treasure trove of extinguished handicrafts like bandhani, weaving, rogan art, block printing, patchwork, tie and dye and other ethnic styles of needlework, embroidery, traditional pottery, mirror work, wood carving, leather art, shell work and metal craft. The versatility comes from the hard work of the natives that provides a perfect backdrop to the white and ochre landscape. These colorful and ethnic arts add a memorizing touch to the rustic life of Run. Most of the locals are skilled artisans are engaged in one craft or the other, most of which is visible in their attire. Dholavira, it is one of the largest sites of the Harappan eras in the Indian subcontinent. Dholavira is located in the Khadir Set Island in Kutch. The site contains remains of the Indus Valley civilization and is a popular destination with all tourists. The Aina Mahal. It is another tourist attraction in Kutch with the breathtaking pool and the awe-inspiring Venetian glass and marble work. The palace is indeed a royal treat. The Vijayavilas Palace. The palace is built in Rajputana style of architecture. The red sandstone building comprises of a beautiful central dome with Bengal dome on the sides, buttress in the corners and stained glass windows. The balconies at top lends a fascinating view of the surroundings. Bhadreshwar Jain Temple. It is one of the most ancient temples situated in Bhadravati, is an extremely popular temple in this region. Bhujes, a bridge, as its archaeological excavation connects the present with the past. It is a gateway to earlier civilization and a dream site for archaeologists. Excavations have discovered that it is connected with various important events of history, for example, Harappa, Indus Valley civilization, Mahabharat, the period of Alexander the Great, Naga period, Rajputs, Sultans, and the British period. Bhuj has a habitation background of about 4000 years, throughout which it formed trade relationship with other ancient civilizations. This led to migratory activities between the civilizations, thus nurturing a unique and composite mix of people and traditions. If you are someone who loves wildlife and is an avid bird watcher, you can visit the two wildlife sanctuaries situated here that are home to many species of animal, including endangered ones. The Run of Kutch region is a rich ecosystem and is also home to flamingos and the wildlife that can be often spotted around the desert. The Indian Wildlife Sanctuary, Kutch Desert Wildlife Sanctuary, etc., are a paradise for wildlife photographers and nature enthusiasts alike. The Gujarat Tourism holds a 3-month-long festival known as the Ran Utsav every year, starting in December and ending in February. This is the main source of income for the locals around who welcome visitors from across the globe to relish local delicacies and to witness the colorful culture and hospitality of Kutch. At the Utsav, there are different cultural events held every day where travelers can stay in tented accommodations in the desert or can also opt for an authentic stay in mud houses a few kilometers away from the desert. Camel safari. White desert camel safari is a once in a lifetime experience. Rather sometimes it is the sole reason why people visit Kutch. a Purnima or a full moon night is the best time to do it on. Cuisines. The Kutch people have a variety of delicacies to offer. For example, khichdi, which is normally eaten with zigri, rotla, chas, curry, etc. Flamingos. Flamingos are migratory bird which make Kutch the biggest breeding ground for them, which is why it is also called as Flamingo City. The breeding season is from August through October, and the lucky travelers are able to witness hundreds of flamingos at Hunchpet near Khavda village, the Spiti Valley cold desert. Spiti is a desert mountain valley situated in the northeastern part of Himachal Pradesh. The valley is situated between India and Tibet, as the word Spiti itself means middle land. It is encircled by high peaks. The altitude of valley is 12,500 feet from sea level. The Rohtang Pass segregates Lahaul and Spiti from the Kulu Valley. Spiti and Lahaul are themselves segregated from each other by the Kunjam Pass. Origin. Spiti Valley nestles in the Trans Himalayas on the leeward slope. It is bordered by Ladakh, Tibet, Kannur and Kulu. Originates at the foot of K3, a glacial peak. It confluences with the Pear Chu at Sumbo after flowing 160 km towards southeast. The river has niched a fascinating collection of shale, and the rock faces provide an extremely important source of the geological history of the Himalayas dating back of 500 million years. Climate and vegetation. The region is a cold desert ecosystem with extreme climate conditions. These can be contributed two main reasons. The first being its location, and the second one its elevation. The location of the Spiti Valley is such that it falls on the rain shadow or leeward side of the Himalayas, thus making it inaccessible to the annual southeastern monsoon. This leaves the region quite dry, thus creating a desert-like region with extremely low rainfall. The second factor that contributes to such cold desert situation is the high altitude, which ranges between 3000 to 5000 meter above sea level. This elevation supplements to the coldness of the environment, and extreme variation is seen in the climatic conditions. The summers are dry and witness to scorching sunlight, and the maximum temperature rises up to 36 degrees Celsius during the day. In the long winters, the temperature drops to a minimum of minus 32 degrees Celsius at night. Winters are freezing and frequently witness severe conditions like snowstorm, blizzards and avalanches. Neither the infertile soil nor the extreme climatic condition allow any kind of vegetation to grow here. The landscape is mostly barren, and there is a scarcity of water resources, the major resources being the glacier fed streams. Culture. The geographical feature of this cold desert are very peculiar, leading to severe climatic conditions. All these factors have resulted in the creation of an exceptional cold desert ecological system. The Spiti Valley not only has a spectacular ecology but also a remarkable culture. The Spiti community is extraordinary. There are different community settlements that are separate all over the valley. These communities have divergent culture which are unlike any other in the world. The landforms hardly provide any comfort to the settlers, but their strategic locations protects them from the harshness of nature. The settlements are nuclear, isolated, sparsely populated. The population majorly belongs to the Mongolese Tibetan race, with some areas of western Ladakh occupied by the Darats, who are intermediaries of Ladakhis and Baltis of the neighboring Baltistan in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Spiti Valley is a prominent center for research on various themes of Buddhism. Spiti Valley is summer home for the nomadic Gadi people. The Gadi people graze their animal in this valley. The Gadi people leave the valley before first snowfall. Summary. So students, let's now summarize what we have learnt in this module. As discussed, deserts have always fascinated people with their spark, sometimes mysterious spatial surrounding and playgrounds for people seeking adventures and exploration of the unknown. These arid regions are called deserts because they are dry. They may be hot or even cold. They may be regions of sand or vast areas of rocks and gravel spattered with bushes, scrubs and an occasional oasis. But one thing that remains essential is that deserts are always dry. As deserts are dry regions, they are ideal for human artifacts and fossils to be preserved. Deserts have fragile environments, therefore, there is an unavoidable need to preserve and conserve them. Thank you.